Here we go. All right. Welcome, everybody. Woo! To the Brave New You gathering to celebrate Mary Poffenroth's first book of many for the mass market audience. She's been a writer for a long time with that arcane university academic crowd, but now she's coming out to the rest of the world with some great insights and tips for life. Very excited to be here. First thing you should know if you ever decide to date somebody creative is that they are going to write about you. And they're gonna involve you in their work. So here I am, excited to be here, and I'm in the book as well, which is courageous of me, I think, because I'm not used to that. But I'm really excited to be here because what? I know, I'm trying. But see, comedy, it's my defense. Not good comedy, by the way, just bad comedy. But I'm glad everybody's here because to come out and be together like this does take an act of bravery. And we don't really think about it that way. But I had the good fortune to be in a room with somebody that really kind of changed the way I think about these gatherings, who just started by saying, I think it's important we acknowledge that to come into a closed space together with strangers is an act of courage, because everything about us is about trying to identify where is the risk, who is the threat. And when we come into a room and we know that it's a small space with strangers, whether it's a subway, a classroom, or a room like this, it's tempting to look around and look for threats. And I think one of the nice things about the time we've had here with the little game that we've got to play is hopefully you've met some people and you've connected and you can look around and kind of go, well, there's a piece of my brain that maybe says there's threats here, but people are kind of nice, they're kind of friendly, and we're all here to share something special. So, but acknowledging that is something that was never taught to me in grade school. Nobody ever said like, hey, by the way, class is gonna be kind of scary because you wanna run. You're coming into a closed space with a bunch of strangers and they might wanna kill you. But don't worry, they're not going to. Like, we're all here together on the planet. And tonight, we're gonna be learning about some neurohacks to recognize how we're thinking, to be able to deal with fear. We're in a culture that amplifies the attention economy, and if it bleeds, it leads is a thing on news because we like to know the threat. So tonight, really excited to have everybody here, really honored to be able to introduce Mary Poffenroth and her book, Brave New You, to all of us here tonight in the room. So Mary, lead us on.
So to learn more about Craig, check out the book because, like he said, he is very much all up in there.
Oh,
much
God.
to his chagrin. Wow, is it just me or is it hot in here? Hold on, I practiced this. Hold on, wait. Oh, no, damn it. I knew I was going to fuck that up. I love a good, reveal. I mean, that's the only thing I'm going to be taking off tonight. So calm your socks, y'all. This is a free event. That costs money. That's later. But no, yeah, no fear. Just do it. But no, thank you so much for joining me tonight on this very first kind of leg of the book tour. And as Craig said, this is my first mass market book, even though I've done keynotes and workshops and things like that for many years, in addition to being faculty for San Jose State University. This is the first time that I've put stories from my life onto the page. And I'm surprised Craig's still with me. I mean, I wouldn't be with me. So many. Wow, it was a lot. But in a really good way. So I want this book to be funny. I want you to laugh. I want you to laugh both at me and with me. Just like Craig, comedy is my coping mechanism. So I really hope that you find a lot of value in this book, but I'm not gonna do a weird author read because I don't have a beautiful British accent that you just wanna listen to and get lulled to sleep. So what we're going to do tonight is play around with some of the neurohacks from the book and just kind of have an opportunity to just play with the ideas that are not just about fear and courage, but starting to change the conversation. F words are very ubiquitous. I drop them all the time. But fear is one of those things that people just don't want to talk about, that we're not socialized to talk about. Yet it's something totally natural, something that we all experience. It's part of the human experience. So why are we so afraid to talk about a big part of just our normal everyday lives? So we're going to start with, it's called the RAIN method. Everyone's going to get a little card. So if I can have a couple of helpers. I love hand mics, but then when I have to like hold things, it turns tricky. So yeah, if you could like help me. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So just pass it around. And this is going to be helpful as we make our way through this method. And this method is detailed in the book. But when we're thinking about kind of fear in general, yeah, take one, pass it around. Take one for a friend. You can even take two, it's totally fine. Now, there's going to be this opportunity to think about the way that we show up with these kind of like big emotions. And when we think about fear, we can kind of start to separate it out into different buckets. And the first one is going to be internal versus external fears. So if I had this like very fancy mic and I went out on the street and I stopped random people and be like, hey, what's your greatest fear? They're probably gonna say spiders, clowns, or the upcoming election. All those things are valid. All those things are valid, right? But the spiders and the clowns and even most of the upcoming election are gonna be external, right? They're outside of our experience. And the more insidious fears that we really struggle with, the ones that keep us up at night, the ones that wake us up at 3 a.m., not just to pee, but then just keep us up until like 5:30 a.m., and then it's time to just get up and go to work. Those are, okay, well, I get up at 5 a.m., but also I go to bed at like 9, so, you know, that's what I do, is the ones that we have the most opportunity to really influence with the neurohacks. So on the cards that everyone had when they came in, and we will not be checking your homework on those. So whatever you wrote, totally fine. It's just between you and that card, and we'll do a little something later with them. Those are the ones that are going to most negatively impact our ability to be happy, healthy, to thrive, to have success, to do the things that we want to do in this life. And those are the ones that we need to address. So let's start together. At the top, just talked about kind of like, you know, these buckets. And deciding to classify these big emotions, these fears, is an important aspect because humans love to categorize things. In California, we have a store called like the Container Store. Is that a thing out here? Okay, thank God, because otherwise this joke would bomb. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, but so you're like the Container Store. We have a whole ass store that just sells other boxes to put our stuff into boxes, and sometimes those small boxes go into like larger boxes, and then we put them into even larger box called our house or garage, because we love to put stuff in boxes. It helps to relax us. It helps us to feel safe. So coming to this idea of putting these sometimes overwhelming, convoluted, chaotic emotions into a box, in and of itself, will help to calm your brain. So actually, before I get to that, I was looking over at Michelle, and Michelle's favorite thing that she loves in the whole wide world, we've done many events together, is when I talked about how, so our fear center in our brain, the amygdala. So the amygdala is going to be 2 almond-shaped structures, generally in the middle, one on the left and one on the right. And although I'm, very much simplifying it for all those science nerds in the crowd, do not shank me after this. They're like, there's more to it. Yes, I know. Read the book, it's fine. But we're gonna say the amygdala is the fear center, okay? And there's many things that are part of our just experience that are just evolutionarily ancient. right? This is how we're hardwired. And one of Michelle's favorite things is that when we chew, we are calming our amygdala. Because our amygdala, and I'm going to anthropomorphize, but our amygdala thinks, hey, if you got time to eat, we're not dying. We're not in danger, right? So it's totally fine. If you got time to have some Doritos, it's all good. But unfortunately, once you stop the chewing process, if you're in like a fear arousal, it's just going to fire right back up. So it's not really a solution, but it's kind of one of those things that is part of how our brain works. And my goal is always to, how can we optimize? How can we work with what we already have? Because we're not broken. Our brains are what they are. They're just the equipment that we've been given. So how can we optimize things a little bit better? And one of the ways is in your hand. So the brain method. So the first thing is to kind of think about, okay, is this thing that I'm feeling factual, fictional? And I use these terms factual and fictional because in the literature, it's called like clean and dirty fear, which I feel is really problematic language. Like, ooh, you got that dirty fear? I mean, that seems like a total other type of situation. So, I like to make it a little more, updated. So, factual fear is going to be the kind of fear that we all experience together. It's something that happens in the moment, and something that once it kind of passes, you're moving on, right? You are walking down the street. Or yesterday, I was at Vinyl Beauty Bar getting my hair done, and like you heard this big screeching tires out front, and everyone turns, right, waiting for like the smash part. But luckily, the smash part didn't come. It was just the part. But it's something that we all like intake. What was that? Oh, screeching car. And then once nothing terrible happens to us in our experience, we move on. Go back to our drinks. There you go. So that's going to be a factual fear. We don't need to worry about those so much. It's the fictional fears that are really the insidious part of our experience that are doing the most damage. Not that fictional fears don't have a kernel of truth in some way, shape, or form, but those are the ones that we really think about, that we're living kind of in the past or maybe in the future. And those are the ones that are going to be keeping us up at 3 a.m. Other than having too much wine at my book launch, and now the wine is making you have to go pee. But it's not my fault, okay? So RAIN is going to stand for recognize, assign, identify, and navigate. So the first part, recognize, is just knowing your tells. I am shit at poker. I'm shit at like really card games in general. But I do know that in poker, there's like a tell, right? In quotation marks, as somebody that doesn't play cards. So a recognize is kind of, what is your tells? For me, when I am in a fear arousal fear arousal state, which many of us just call stress, I scrunch my shoulders, like shoulders, ears, knees and toes. Yep, that's me. I'll grind my teeth. And those are my kind of two tells to recognize that something's happening, that there's some kind of fear arousal, my amygdala is getting fired up, something's going on. And why this is important is because the part of the brain that allows us to be creative, solve complex problems, come up with really good solutions, and innovate is the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex, if you took your right palm, well, you could take your left palm, I guess. Take your palm and slap yourself gently on the forehead, right behind your palm. That's going to be the prefrontal cortex. That's where all the magic happens. Guess what? That motherfucker goes offline when your amygdala is fired up, even a little bit. Yep. So if you're in a fear arousal, you cannot create, you cannot innovate, you cannot solve complex problems if you're even in a minor fear arousal state. So if you want to do cool shit, if you want to change the world, you have to have tools to move through the normal, just everyday part of being a human. And being a human's hard in 2024. It just keeps getting harder, like every year. Like the world needs to calm its socks. I'm ready for a precedented year instead of an unprecedented year. Like we just like, oh man, this year was so precedented. That was good. So relaxing. I just sat on the beach and had a bunch of no, I'm not making president jokes. Nope, sorry, back that up. Burp, burp, burp. So recognize, these are just some of them. There's lots of physical like manifestations of fear and stress. So you need to kind of find your own. And then once you kind of notice that, then you can assign a name to it. So you just want to choose one. And people will fight me on this stage. They're like, well, I have more than one word. I'm sure you do, because humans are complex. I understand. Just pick one, though. It's called pigeonholing. Just pick one word that most aligns with what you're feeling here. Now, I know this is real small because I'm now one of those people that when I wake up in the morning, my phone, I have to be like, oh, is there a text message? I need my glasses. So if you go to hellobravenewYou.com, because my last name is fucked up to smell. It's a long day. Spell, then you'll be able to download this as a like digital JPEG that you can just put on your phone. You can make it as large as possible, because I definitely can't read those, but it's the same thing. But if you can read that, great, but don't worry, it is on the website for you to be able to download. And choosing just one word in the moment, many times will short circuit that kind of like fear arousal experience. And if not, you're like, oh, I choose a word. Oh, yep, that's my word. And then if that doesn't really kind of like help in what you are feeling, because even though our amygdala and its ability to feel fear is binary in terms of on, off, it's either in a fear arousal or it's not, the intensity is going to be on a spectrum. Sometimes it's low, sometimes it's high, sometimes it's everything in between. So if steps 1 and 2 haven't really done it for you, again, coming back to that idea of how can I categorize things? How can I bring my prefrontal cortex a little bit more into the game? Like a little less amygdala, a little more prefrontal cortex. And when we think about all of the human fears, and we have a lot of them, right? But what I fear and what you fear is going to most likely be different. But when you take all of them, they kind of get put into one of two buckets. Either the fear of not enough or the fear of losing control. And if you can recognize that you're in a fear arousal state, if you can assign it just one word other than fear or stress, because we like to say stress in this big old bucket that we just kind of shove everything into, like the back of the closet with all of those beauty products you get for Christmas that you don't want, but you feel bad and you can't white elephant them yet, so you just kind of shove them in the back. That's what happens when we call our fear arousal stress. So deciding, is the thing that I'm experiencing right now fear of not enough or fear of losing control? And then last but not least is navigate. So this is where the other neurohacks come in. So Rain Method's kind of like a multi-step, but sometimes you just want something quick and easy. Something just like, just give me something quick and easy that I can have in my toolbox, in my back pocket, because I don't want to look deeper. I don't have time to look deeper. Just give me something fast. And that's what we're going to do together. So on the little card is box breathing. And in my book, there's some of my research as a actual scientific researcher, but also the research of others, because psychology is, I didn't invent psychology. Right? It's been around for a little while. But we're not good, scientists are not good at letting other people know about all the fantastic things that have been discovered. We don't have a really great PR team on that. So I bring some of that into the book as well. So the neurohack that's on this long card is going to be Navy SEAL box breathing, which thus the name Navy SEALs. I did not invent it. but it's fantastic. And that's going to be one of the things that are going to be part of our little cards, but there's going to be other ones. So if I could also get some assistance. So these are going to be Neurohack quick win cards as a card deck. So go ahead, and they're going to be different. So hello. Hi, I've never met you before, but you're both very beautiful. Welcome to the stage. Yes. KP and Aaron, everybody, round of applause. Woo! So if you can go ahead and give everyone a card. They're already going to be sorted, so if you just hand them out, they'll be different. And so go ahead and I'll give you, yes, one card only. In Los Angeles, there's this wonderful place called the Magic Castle. Anyone know the Magic Castle? Yes, Magic Castle. And I'm not good at magic, but I enjoy watching magic. But maybe one day I'll do like a magic trick with the Neurohack cards. But today is not that day. But I like the idea. So we'll give it a second for everyone to get a card. Grab a card, any card. And actually, I forgot which ones were in there because I'm going to do a thing. Because I've been talking for a while, and I love to get people to move around, which is nice to have a stage this low because, well, I'm short, and getting up and down a big stage is always interesting. So we have 1, 2, 3. What? Yeah, I can grab it later. So the deck is still in progress. We have 10 so far. There's more neurohacks from the book, but working in with the design and trying to get sometimes something that's like a whole page of text down to a couple words is not as easy. So we have 10 total, but I didn't include all of them on purpose. I just want to make sure which ones, because I'm gonna group you. Hold on. And this is the Professorson coming out. And then I just heard Craig groan from the back. It's like, oh no, here we go, great. Okay, so there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. So I'm gonna put you into groups. Don't worry, it'll be not painful like when you had to make groups for a project and then you were the only one to show up and then you had to do all the work or fail. Don't worry, it's gonna be fun. Right? Because you're the only one that cared about your grade. Okay, so trauma. It's bonding, trauma bonding. So if you have the near and the far card, come over to this area over here. So the near and the far card, come over here. I'm gonna put this on the ground. The near and the far card is gonna be over there. All right, if you have the long and the short of it, who has the long and the short of it? And hey, Craig Michael Allen, I heard that. The long and the short of it. Come on over here. The long and the short of it. Over here. The long and the short of it. Short people have value too, Craig. Okay. And box breathing. Who has box breathing? Okay, let's do box breathing over here. Box breathing.
Is it fox breathing or
what does the fox say? No, it's box breathing, box breathing. I'm sure you do. Okay, and then pinch the valley. Where's my pinch the valley, folks? Okay, let's go center in the back. Pinch the valley. Okay, and then I'm running for last but not least, but I forgot which one it was. I think it was the heart one. Let's see. Okay. Tapping into courage. Okay, tapping into courage is gonna come on stage. Boom, tapping into courage, folks. Yes. So now, introduce yourselves, even if you don't have all the letters, because, you came in late, you didn't pillage. And take a couple minutes to practice with these neurohacks. And just so if it wasn't clear, because Craig just made fun of me, you're supposed to be practicing your neurohack that you all shared. That well, like practice the card that you got in your groups, and I'll be coming around. So we did this at the start, and then we were doing, we kind of like broke into little groups around a neurohacking part. So let me, I'm going to bring you over to this group because I was just finishing with them. So let me get you a card for the tapping, and let me kind of introduce you over here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start to close things down. So if you haven't grabbed another tasty beverage, please take the moment to do so. And then we're going to bring it on back to the center. All right, so because we were having so much fun, I'm starting to go over time because that's how we roll. So I wanted to do like all of the neurohacks. And this is not this is not a sales pitch, but to find out would you want to wave? I know. To find out more than neurohacks, I'm only going to give you a teaser. You only get the one. But of course, the cards are all yours to keep. And many of the neurohacks, it sounds like people were having a lot of fun with. So I hope that they brought some value and that, please share them, use them. And I hope that they are going to help to make your tomorrow more courageous than your yesterday. So before we final break, we had those little envelopes. Oh, wait, I need to find mine. So again, I'm not going to check your homework. No one's. So wait, find your envelope. I gotta find. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I gotta find mine. No one look at me. Even though I have the mic and everyone's looking at me. Okay, and if you didn't write down one of your biggest fears on a little card, I'm going to give you a hot 2 seconds to do so. There's a bunch of cards up here at the front because I realized that I didn't write down mine either because thank you. I'm a bad student. And that is not the start of a porn. Not at all. No. I am even though I'm a faculty member, I'm also sometimes the worst student. So as most professors are. Aaron and KP. Woo! So if you did not have an opportunity to do your little fear card, which is going to be in the little envelopes, they're up at the front. They're on the table with the black linens. So take a moment. I'm going to walk slowly, and I will actually verbalize mine in addition to writing it. So on the little card, it says, write down a few, or just one, given time, write down a few of your greatest fears and seal them in the envelope. Now remember, this is only going to be between you and the card, so be really honest. At the start of our time today, we talked about, the internal fears, the ones that keep us up or wake us up in the middle of the night. So try to go deeper than the spiders and the clowns. Try and write something that maybe you didn't admit to yourself yet. Because again, no one's going to see this. Promise, no one's going to see this. So I'm going to write down mine. And I'm gonna put mine in my little envelope. But now, I'm gonna share mine with yours as you're finishing writing down yours on your card. So for me, something that has definitely kept me up at night has been launching this book baby into the world. Like I said at the top of our time together today, I put into words stories that I had not told anyone outside of people that were like the closest of closest humans. And I'm a scientist. I got into science because emotions are gross. Like, they're hard. I wanted to call this book Emotions Are Gross. Publisher said no. I mean, see? I know, science, where you don't have to feel stuff. Awesome. Until you feel too much stuff and then you have to do something about it. So I would say one of my current big internal fears was launching this book baby into the world, because now people get to talk even more shit about me on the internet. More than rate my professor. Like, ugh. Right? I will say, when that first came out, I was very proud to get like a chili pepper. But in all honesty, I should actually put launching the book baby and Amazon reviews. Amazon reviews are also my biggest fear. I'm just not going to go on Amazon ever again after this. But these are the internal things that if we start to talk about them and even make jokes about them, then they're not so scary. So I want everyone to take their envelope. Take your envelope in your hand, put it in the air. We can't read it from here, promise. Okay. And I want you to rip it in two. Okay, and then rip it again. Oh, this is when it starts to get hard. Okay. And if you have the strength, I probably don't. Nope, I don't. But if you could do it again, yes, maybe. Okay, mine's gonna be big confetti. And then, oh my God, Erin, you're ruining the ending. Michelle, do you see what I have to put up with over here? So on the count of three, we're going to take our fear confetti. We're going to take those fears that we did you just pick it up. On the count of three, we're going to take those fears that have been ripped up, and together in community, we are going to toss them in the air. Ready? On the count of three, Erin. 1, 2, 3. To me, 1, 2, 3. Thank you, everyone. It's been such a pleasure. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I, of course, will be signing books in the back. I will see you at the back table. Yeah, so I'm going to be at the black table, and I'll sit. I don't know if there's a chair. I should get a chair, but yeah. So we'll go in.
Yeah. So if you want,
Hello. If you have a book and you would like Mary Poffenroth to autograph it, to make it a limited edition collector's edition, please see Mary at the back of the room. Mary will be signing for the next 34 minutes and answering questions about fears. Thank you. Please drive safely.